Hello, welcome to the Self Learning Podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Let us start discussion on Unit 5 Concept and Theories of Structure. And our topic is Social Structure is a Reality. A.R. Radcliffe Brown's Contribution. As said earlier, Spencer coined the term social structure but did not offer a theoretical perspective on it, except for advancing the analogy between the societies and the organism, which influenced later scholars in developing the concepts of structure and function. For instance, Emile Durkheim, although a staunch critic of Spencer, was greatly attracted to organic analogy and said that the idea of function in social science was based on the analogy between the living organism and society. He used the term social morphology, by which he meant what we meant by the term social structure. Durkheim's sociology exercised an indelible impact on the British social anthropologist A.R. Radcliffe Brown, who was a student of the diffusionist W.H.R. Rivers and had carried out his first-hand field work with the Andaman Islanders from 1906 to 1908. The findings of this field study was first submitted in the form of an MA dissertation in 1910. Subsequently, it was reworked for a book published in 1922 titled The Andaman Islanders, which is regarded as one of the first important books leading to the foundation of the functional approach. Besides his contribution to what he called the structural functional approach, one of his important contributions was to the understanding of the concept of social structure. As said previously, there are scholars prior to Radcliffe Brown who had used the term social structure, but it was Radcliffe Brown 1952 who not only defined this concept but also initiated a debate on it. Throughout his teaching, he emphasized the importance of the study of social structure. This submission of Radcliffe Brown was closely linked to his notion of social anthropology, which he was quite willing to call, after Durkheim, comparative sociology. Now let us move to the next point on natural science of society. For Radcliffe Brown, social anthropology is the theoretical natural science of human society. That is to say, social phenomena are investigated by methods similar to those used in natural and biological sciences. Each of the sciences has a subject matter that can be investigated through our senses. Thus, the subject matter is empirical, which can be subjected to the observation. Radcliffe Brown pursues the analogy of the natural science. All natural sciences systematically investigate the structure of the universe as it is revealed to us through our senses. Each branch of science deals with a certain class or kind of structures. For instance, atomic physics deals with the structure of atoms, chemistry with the structure of molecules, anatomy and physiology with the structure of organism. Then it moves further with the aim to discover the characteristics of all structures of that kind. Each science endeavors to understand a structure with which it is concerned, and then all structures of that type are compared to discover their common characteristics. All sciences move from particular to general, from understanding a structure to understanding the structure. If social anthropology is a natural science of society, then its subject matter must be amenable to observation and empirical inquiry. Social structure is what social anthropologists study. It is the province of their inquiry. It is observable. It has a concrete reality. Radcliffe Brown writes, social structures are just as real as are individual organisms. It is clear that Radcliffe Brown's concept of social structure is tied to his natural science conception of social anthropology. Now let us move to the next point, the content of social structure. When we speak of social structure, we have in mind, as said earlier, some sort of an ordered arrangement of parts or components. A piece of musical composition has a structure and its parts are notes. Similarly, a sentence has a structure, its parts are words. So does a building, the parts of which are bricks and mortar. The basic part of social structure is a person. Here Radcliffe Brown makes an important distinction between the individual and a person. As an individual, he is a biological organism, comparing a large number of molecules organized in a complex way, which keeps on carrying out a multitude of physiological and psychological functions till the time he is alive. This aspect of human beings, the individual aspect, is an object of study for biological and psychological sciences. As a person, the human being is a complex of social relationships. It is a unit of study for sociologists and social anthropologists. As a person, he is a citizen of a country, a member of a family, a supporter of a political party, a follower of religious cult, a worker in a factory, a resident of a neighborhood, and so on. Each of these positions the person occupies denotes a social relationship, because each position is related to another position. A person is a member of a family in relation to other members, and the set of interrelationships of the members of a family constitutes its structure. Each person occupies, therefore, a place in a social structure. Radcliffe Brown uses the term social personality for the position a human being occupies in a social structure. It, however, does not imply that the position remains the same throughout the life of an individual, for it changes over time. New positions are added, old are deleted. When we study persons in terms of social structure, and we study social structures in terms of persons, who are the unit of what it is composed. Society is not a haphazard conjunction of persons, rather an organized system where norms and values control the relationships between persons. A person knows how he is expected to behave according to these norms and values, and is justified in expecting that other persons should do the same. Radcliffe Brown includes the following two aspects within the social structure. The first is all social relations of person to person, that is, interpersonal relations. For example, the kinship structure of any society consists a number of didactic relations, such as father and son, mother and daughter, mother's brother and sister's son, etc. Second, the differentiation of individuals and of classes by their social role. For instance, the relation between the men and women, chief and commoners, employers and employee, etc., are aspects of social structure, for they determine social relations between people. In both cases, we are in fact concerned with the relations between persons which norms and values of that society condition. Bringing these together, Radcliffe Brown says that social structure is that concrete reality that comprises the set of actually existing relations at a given moment of time, which link together certain human beings. We can conduct direct observation on social structure. We can see the actually existing relations, describe and classify them, and understand the relation of persons with others. Social structure is observable, empirical, and fully amenable to study by methods of natural and biological sciences. Now let us wind up this session and take rest. Thank you very much for engaging yourself with the Self Learning podcast.